Yo, what's up guys, it's Dolphin, and I am going to be playing the Aston Bulldog challenge. So here we go, let's see how far we can get in this challenge. I think I might be able to beat it, because the requirements are a bit more flexible, so I will have a much better chance at winning it. So right now, right here, I'll just be using this hand. I'm in the future tense again because it's a challenge, and I feel like it's a bit easier to record challenges when I'm voicing over it with just the gameplay in the background, because it makes it a bit easier and it makes the videos a bit shorter and more efficient, because then I don't have to be just figuring out what hand I can use. I'll just have the clips of the rounds being beaten with me talking over it. So this is basically what I'm using. These first few rounds are pretty simple, especially since I have all the cars maxed out from the Super Bird. I didn't have to buy anything yet or open any packs yet, because these requirements are much more flexible. It's just cars from 1999 or older that are called the Wild, pretty much, which is very simple. So basically that Chrysler Falcon is a pretty key one, just because of its good 0 to 60, so I'm just able to use it on any of the drags. And then basically all the rest of the stuff is just my low tier uncommons that I've maxed out, and then that stock Ford Mustang, which is just good because it has performance tires, so I can use it on the drag strip. So as you can see, the Chrysler Falcon is able to reach 100 miles per hour while most of the Comets cannot, like the Fiat Panda right here, which takes a long time to finish the race. It probably took a good, 10 seconds for me to realize, or a good 10 seconds for it to actually finish that race. I don't really know how long it actually was, but that's how long it felt like. And then the Subaru RX is pretty easy to beat when you put it on a drag strip. Otherwise, it's an insanely good car on any other track set, especially if it's wet. Then it's really good if it's twisty. But when it comes to a drag strip, that is the one Subaru RX's weakness. But it's actually a really great car. And so here we go, just progressing through the rounds now. Twisty road, my Pontiac Sunbird GT is pretty good at that, especially when it's going up against lower RQ cars, or cars that aren't built for that right track set. Now this one's also a pretty simple one. We just got some city streets, which I have a bunch of medium stuff for, another drag, which is perfect for the Chrysler Falcon, and then that city streets medium where I can just drop the stock Mustang so I don't have to upgrade it yet. There we go, another time Chrysler Falcon hits 100, while the Bronco Windsor cannot, because it only has a 98 mile per hour top speed. And here we go now, another 4,000 cash. The cash is actually really nice because it's pretty helpful with upgrades and stuff. And now we switch to uncommon cars now. So the pool has gotten a bit smaller, but still it's nowhere near specific as in the Super Bird. And there's still a drag, so I can use my Impala. And there's some rain, so I can use my Beetle. And then the Sunbird and the Mustang can just go basically wherever else. Plus that off-road, I have my Cold Vista, which will be very useful because of the four-wheel drive standard tires, as you can see right here, getting 133 points. So yeah, that's basically this round. Pontiac Sunbird wins here, does pretty good. So yeah, basically gets the win. And then right here, the Ford Mustang Cobra also gets the win. That's what it's supposed to do. It has 20 more handling, so it makes pretty good sense. And then the Chevy Impala as well reaches 100 miles per hour, while the Dodge Cold Vista cannot. Also, the competition seems a lot easier to win, against, so it's not really too bad. And then here we go, on to round 5 now. We're a fourth of the way there. We got some more off-road, so we can use the Cold Vista, except I'm going to switch it to the karting circuit. Now, this is a little bit trickier, because we do have that other uncommon Mustang on the quarter-mile drag. So I have to use the Sunbird on the 1 mile, and maybe the Mustang Cobra can win there. We'll have to see in a second. Volkswagen Beetle is perfect for the off-road because it has high handling and it's got standard tires. Then my Chevy Impala is maxed at 330. It's not maxed, but it's upgraded at 330. Pontiac Sunbird, it just wins the 1 mile because it has 6 better top speed and a better 0 to 60 by a lot. Colt Vista wins because 4-wheel drive standard tires, so it's good in the rain, even though it has pretty lacking handling. And then let's see if the Mustang Cobra is able to win. We did start off faster, but the Mustang 289 has better top speed, so I'm going to have to find something else. And so basically, let's see, I don't have anything that has a good enough 0 to 60, as you can see by me sliding the screen back and forth. But now here we go. I have the Mustang 289 now, just had to open a few steel packs, and I was able to unpack one, so now I have it at 310, and that should be enough to win the quarter-mile drag. So basically, let's just slide, zoom through these. Yeah, let's just go through these rounds. There we go, that's a good word. Let's just go through these rounds again, winning all these, and then my Mustang should win against the 222 Mustang, while mine is 310. And so basically when it comes to lower tier cars though, engine upgrades make it much faster than weight upgrades. It just increases the 0 to 60 by a much larger margin. Once though when it comes to higher RQ cars or some specific lightweight cars, then weight actually does sometimes do more to the 0 to 60. But there we go now. Getting another win and onto round 6 now. So let's see what we can do with this. Just grabbing the Mustang Cobra since there isn't any mixed anymore. And we'll put the Sunbird there in the karting circuit. Then we'll have to find a spot for the Impala because it has low handling and all this stuff is twisty stuff. And that Mustang we can throw on the twisty circuit even though it is lacking handling. But it is still able to beat that other uncommon Chevy Impala because that Chevy Impala is lacking much more low handling. So there we go. Basically Mustang Cobra is a pretty key car in just this challenge in general because it's a low RQ, high handling car with performance tires rear wheel drive. And actually the Impala SS loses here, which I thought was pretty interesting at the time because even though we did have 2 less handling, we were much faster to 0 to 60. So I thought we could have been to pull it off because G-force test, there's that little straight at the end. But basically I just have to upgrade the handling now, so now it's at 331. And that should be enough to win because we are only down by 1 handling, but we're also a second faster to 60. So let's see what happens now. Volkswagen Beetle easily wins there because we got a lot more handling. And then Mustang Cobra wins here. And then the Chevy Impala will win here. Hopefully. Well, I know it does. I'm in the future tense. But yeah, so it does win there. So basically, this challenge has a lot of easier competition in my opinion, and much easier requirements. Like, this was one of the harder rounds that people said, but I was able to beat it really easily, just from like a generic group of super rares. Like, because it's such a not niche collection of cars. While with the Superbird challenge, it was a very niche collection you had to have. There's like a pool of like 8 cars. While with this one, you basically just needed 90s or before uncommons, which there was a bunch of them at least. There was at least more than like 8 for the niche pool of the others, and the steel packs are much cheaper. So you could basically, all you had to do is really get any car from it that's 90s or before to basically win this. Like, the only really key car that you probably needed was the Impala SS427, but most people already have it in their garage because it is a pretty good car for clubs and American drag events in general, because of its high top speed and pretty good 0 to 60 plus pretty solid MRA. So yeah, I just found this challenge quite a bit more easier. Even right now when you'll see I'm lacking off-roaders, I have 2 Ford Pumas as my off-roaders, and still, there isn't really a challenge here because I just have to beat that 1 Ford Puma on the motocross track, and everywhere else is fine. I just have to upgrade my Ford Puma a bit more. But I mean, you could have basically any other car, it's just the Ford Puma is my best option because I have a couple of fuses in it. And then basically you could have just had any other rare that was from 90s. So I just found it a bit easier. That's just in my opinion though. A couple other people might have found it tricky. I just found it pretty easy. I'm skipping through that match because that match was pretty simple. Now right here too, that City Street Small is actually one of the tricky tracks. Like, it is one of the more tricky tracks you have to race. But still, there's a lot of other points in here that are just easy to make up. Like this one, all you need is basically a standard tire car. For this race, you basically just need an upgraded car. Any car you could use besides an off-roader that's upgraded, it would probably win that. This one now, though, you either need the Ford Puma or you need that Dodge Colt, because they're the only 2 medium options that are rare. This one's pretty simple, just need a car that has handling. Like, you could probably use any car that's just better than 65 handling. And then this one, there's like all those options for dragsters. Basically, you just have to max one out because the Barracuda Fastback doesn't have that great of MRA. So there we go, winning this round now. Up next is the ceramic pack round, and again, it isn't really anything too tricky. Basically, you just need like 1 or 2 actual good cars, and then the rest could have just been cars they have upgraded a bit. Like, basically, you just need 1 dragster, which is right here. I have my Barracuda, which wins against the Roadrunner. And then in this next race right here, basically you just need a car that's decent. Because 6482 isn't that hard to beat, like, unless you have just a bunch of Ford Pumas and just a bunch of really bad cars. Then all the rest of these 3 races, you basically just need a car that has handling or that's just upgraded. Because these are pretty simple races, these last 3. And the Colt GT Turbo might be a bit of an issue, but basically if you have a rare car that has solid handling-ish, handling, then you're basically fine. So let's see what we can get from this ceramic pack now. Maybe we can get something good. Ford F-150 and another Volkswagen Tiguan, so not that great, probably fuse when this challenge is over. Now, onto this round now. This round is actually a bit tricky, especially if you're lacking standard tire cars. Now, this is probably the one actual tricky round, and I accidentally beat it off camera because I wasn't expecting, as you can see that car right there, the Ram Dodge First Gen, to actually win on the hill climb. I wasn't expecting it to actually be able to complete the hill climb. It got all the way down to like 15 miles per hour, and then basically American VTEC kicked in, and it completed the rest of the race and went like 30 miles per hour up a direct uphill. Which, basically in my description, American VTEC. So it was able to win that, and I was pretty surprised because I wasn't recording that happening. I basically had it at 2-1-1. And it was able to win that hill climb, which got enough points basically for all the other areas. So then basically I just had my 2 standard tire Ford Pumas, and then just my 2 Opel Mantas. And that's basically what my hand was for that. Now this one also, it's just, you gotta have a couple of good cars, which I do. Yeah, I don't really know where I'm going with this, but this now is another tricky one. You need either the Ford Puma or the Colt GT Turbo. So there is a bit of competition here, but if you do think you can get past the Superbird, like this is just coming from me thinking like this, because if you get past the Superbird, you can probably win the Bulldog, especially if you had to make a bunch of investments, unless you already have won the Bulldog, because it's pretty far into the challenge. But if you haven't won the Superbird yet, and you're like really close, it's basically you get the Superbird and the Bulldog on top of that, unless you have like no super rares. Because really the super rares and I guess the ultra rare that you need, because you do need like 1 ultra rare, but if you've gotten that far into the Superbird to win it, you probably have at least 1 or 2 mediocre ultra rares, and then a few of the super rares from all the packs you've gotten, if you kept them. Like basically, if you're really close to winning the Superbird, then basically I'd say put the investment in, go for it, because you're basically winning the Aston Martin Bulldog on top of it if you have another token. Because the competition here is much easier, and it's got a much more variety of cars you can pull. And if you've already opened a bunch of packs, you probably have a bunch of stuff that you didn't want for the Superbird that'll be really useful right here. And this is now another tricky one that will determine if you want to go all the way in, is if you do have off-roaders. Because you're going to need some off-roaders for this round. You really don't, but I mean, like, this round's a really simple one if you just have, like, 2 super rare off-roaders, which I had 5. All of them are stocked besides the Ram, which I upgraded for that one round. But yeah, I'd say go all the way if you have stuff that looks like it's good enough to win these rounds. Because I feel like it was much easier than the Superbird, and you have a pretty decent chance at getting it if you are able to win the Superbird. Like, the Superbird was sort of like a trial to make sure if you want to keep going on the further rounds, which makes sense. So like except it doesn't also kind of make sense. Like, the Superbird isn't really a car that you want to invest a ton into. Neither really is the Bulldog, unless you want like a prize car. Like, that's the cool thing that makes them cool, is they are a prize car and they're pretty good looking cars. And so that's basically why then what was I saying? I can't remember what I was saying. Basically why you should make, or you shouldn't make the investment. I don't know. I don't really know where I was going with that. I can't, all of a sudden my mind went blank. But yeah, basically you just gotta have like a few cars, really. You really just, like, I'm using 2 stock super rares right now, and I'm able to get past this round too. This is one of the more trickier rounds as well. And basically, if you have just a few super rares, you should be fine. Or just like a generic collection from winning the Superbird. So, if you want to go for it, I'd say go for it, because, I mean, the Bulldog is a good-ish car, just the high top speed is the only thing really good about it. So, I mean, it's a probably good club car for, like, speed of light, and maybe the Monaco one, whatever that one's called. But, I mean, it's also just a cool car, too. Like, it's cool to collect the prize cars and stuff. And I don't really know where I'm going with this. I still don't really know what I've been really talking about either. I'm just trying to maintain talking while City Streets medium plays, where my 3-3-2 Ford Puma wins. But yeah, so basically, let's see. So 1 mile drag Lamborghini Yalpa wins here because the Barracuda Fastback doesn't have high enough top speed. And so we win here. And we're getting pretty close now to winning the Bulldog. It's just a couple more rounds left. Now is when you need to use an ultra rare, which is why I said if you have the ultra rare, then you should go for it. Because if you don't have the ultra rare, it's going to be pretty tricky to get an ultra rare, because then it's gambling pretty much. It's just gambling on your pack luck. Especially if you don't want to invest in carbon fibers, then it really is gambling on your pack luck. But if you have the ultra rare, I'd say go for it. because why not? Play the challenge, it's how you play the game, so you might as well keep progressing. Unless you're, like, completely stuck. And, if you're, like, really, really stuck and you don't have the resources, then, I don't know, you do you, I guess. I don't know why I've been maintaining this same topic for, like, so long. I don't really know what I'm sort of rambling on with it about. But there we go, we beat round 15 now, or nope, that was round 16, never mind. But yeah, I was actually able to do all this in one recording, while with last time in the video about the Superbird, I had to do multiple edits for, like, every single round pretty much, because I had to max out something new. This one, there was only, like, 2 rounds I actually had to make an edit for, because I actually had to open packs for them, which was the lower tier stuff. Right once I got into the higher tier stuff, I had a much stronger Call of the Wild higher tier garage, so it was pretty nice then, and I was able to flow right through the challenge. So there we go, round 18 now. Still doesn't look like an issue as long as I have these upgraded cars, which I do right here. Oblimenta 400 and the Yalpa. Both are good, and then basically 2 maxed ultra rares and a max super rare. That's one of the best super rare options. So I'm pretty fine right here. De Tomaso Guara, even though it has no MRA, it still wins, because De Tomaso Mangusta does not have the 0 to 60 to help it catch up. Right here also, Oblimenta 400 just has the better handling. So, soon we will be getting that Aston Martin Bulldog, hopefully, if none of these rounds are very tricky. Or, yeah, I guess very tricky. I don't know why I said or. There's nothing else I can really add on to it besides it being very tricky. But yeah, so let's see if it is. Round 19 now. This is for the next challenge token. So then I'll be able to participate for that carbon fiber, which will be nice because hopefully I can win it. Because there are a few Call of the Wild Ultra Rares and above that would be really nice, including that Ford Mustang GT, the RQ60 one, I think. It's not RQ61, it's RQ60, that one. And yeah, I don't really know why I'm thinking about taking the Ram, but let's take the Ram. Oh wait, that's why, there was off-road, I did not see that. And so yeah, basically right here, it's pretty easy. The Alfa Romeo Carabo has 0 MRA, so don't be afraid of it. You could basically place any rare dragster against it and it would probably win. Also right here, don't be afraid of the Low Red Express truck, because it's rear-wheel drive, so basically, if you have just a 4-wheel drive off-road, you should be fine. Or if you have the Little Red Express truck, you could probably just put, like, max it out, and you should be fine with that as well. So, here we go now, round 19, looking pretty strong. We're already at 217 points, and we're going to win this right here because the Puma has standard tires. Even though the Barracuda did start catching up a tiny bit in the end, the Puma just had that faster acceleration because of the standards. And then right here also, Mustang Cobra wins because it is one of the best super rare options for performance tire on dry road racing. That sounded pretty cool. But yeah, so there we go, Yalpa now. Let's see what the round is for the Aston Martin Bulldog. And here it is right here. So I do know that the Yalpa wins by 0.01. I saw that on Discord. And it is able to win on that 1 mile drag against the Mangusta. This one right here flattens the Carabo because the Carabo has 0 MRA. This one's pretty simple because we have 15 more handling plus a much better 0 to 60. So that's already 242 points in the second round, which is pretty cool, I guess. I mean, it shows that, like, the rounds aren't that tricky, especially when it comes to the final rounds, as long as you just got a good high end and just a good performance tire on-road car collection. Even the 332 Ford Puma is winning here on the slalom test against the Barracuda Fastback. And then right here, I have the Pantera GT5S, which actually has MRA compared to the Barracuda Fastback, which does not. But the Barracuda Fastback is still a great car. So there we go. Aston Martin Bulldog has been acquired. Pretty nice, because in the beginning, I didn't even think I'd be able to get the Superbird after I saw what the competition was. But now I have the Aston Martin Bulldog, which is very nice. Pretty cool. So yeah, that's basically going to end this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like these type of videos, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell, do all that cool stuff. I'm Elephant. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.